welcome in El Cotro fans to our continuing coverage of Prehistoric Planet. We are now covering the 5th episode, the series finale, hopefully a season finale. Hopefully, this does good enough. They decided they want to do more. Maybe we come back and we can do a Jurassic themed one or some other ones there. So it's really been really cool show. Loved it. This is the new generation of walking with dinosaurs. It has been fantastic. So our 5th episode is Forest. Let's pop up the slideshow here. There it is. Delayed reaction. So this might be the best episode I think of them all so far, actually. Did not get what I expected. I kind of thought maybe we'd book in back in with the T-Rex, but there was no T-Rex in this episode. But we did get some interesting characters, none to say the least. So Forest, which way am I going? I forgot which way to go here. Boom. So it starts us with some sauropods. These are the Ostroposeidon. They are a South American titanosaur. They were about 80 feet tall. So we're showing them pretty much, run their way through the forest, picking off plants and stuff like that. And they talk about how if they can't reach the tree, they like the leaves at the top, but if they can't reach the leaves on the top, they just knock the damn tree down. That's what they do because, hey, when you're a multi-ton dinosaur, you do whatever you want to do. So we open up with these guys. So cool, just showed them and then it shows like how they knock the trees down and all the sunlight actually gets through the canopy and gets to the ground, and then plants hurry up and rush in and refill that zone, and whatever they knock down quickly regrows. So pretty much saying you take out some of the forest comes back. From there we switch back to North America for a herd of my personal favorite, Triceratops. As they're just munching through the forest. And we get some cool one. You had one with a broken horn. So they're just, just chilling, cruising through the forest, eating on some plants. We even have, that's a little blurry, but a little baby with one. Oh, there you've got a little calf. They talk about how the frills are used to protect themselves when they're fighting with each other. But then they also bring up that the plants have adaptations, that the plants that they're eating have toxins in them that can be dangerous to them, especially dangerous to the calf. But the Triceratopses have an answer for that toxin. So we have trikes in a cave. So the herd enters this giant cave opening, and what's more than better than trikes in the cave? Trikes in the dark. So they wander their way through this passage in this cave with no light. They're talking about how there's zero light, and they're talking about the baby needs to stay close to its parents or else it could get squished. And then the baby actually ends up getting too close and gets bumped out of the way and then loses its parents and gets lost. And you're like, oh, any wrong turns, it could be disaster, and the baby could go down the wrong way and die. Because this show's been really bad for babies, man. So what we find out is the trikes go to this area where this special kind of clay is, and they eat the clay. The clay coats their stomach and keeps so they don't ingest the toxins. Hypothetically. Mom knows his baby's missing, but baby found the right way, so baby's okay. And the baby learns to eat the clay, so the baby trike is okay. Yay, baby saved. I need to do a tally of how many babies do get killed in this show. So he goes pretty much so. The Titanosaur's not going to retreat, completely viable, so the Triceratops is going into a cave to get clay to coat their stomachs for the plants they eat. Out there, but okay, we'll go with it. Let's go with it. That wasn't a good picture. Oh, there we are. So from there we go and meet find a clearing. I guess we're back in South America. There's a clearing in the canopy being made, and it's this male Carnotaurus is making this clearing. He's taking all the twigs out. He's making this nice big flat area, and he does a little bellow to once he's ready to attract a female. The female shows up, and he does a dance. So he does like this little dance. Oh, that's when we got that one picture, don't we? I didn't get to show his arms. So Carnotaurus are notorious. I mean, a lot of dinosaurs are notoriously known for having the tiny little arms. T-Rex, of course, everyone gets on it. Carnotaurus' arms are ridiculously tiny. They're even smaller than T-Rex's. So their theory is that, but they do have like ball joints, so they are kind of movable though. So he does have the ability to move the arms. So what you can't see from the still shot is the underside of the arms are like bright blue. So he's doing this little dance, and then he does the arm thing, and he's just doing all this arm movement and flashing the blue on his arms. Kind of like, I guess there's animals in the world that do that, like peacocks, and some lizards have like, birds. A lot of birds have like colored spots that they'll do to show off to impress a female. So assuming maybe the Carnotaurus uses its arms for that, and behind the this thing on this one was about this possibility of the Carnotaurus. Okay, that's a little out there, but okay, maybe, I guess. So we watched the Carnotaurus dance, and then in the end, the female rejects him. Sorry, brother. I know how you feel. Been there myself. Poor guy. Then we go over to China. And let's see, we get these guys up here. So we meet these cute little blue fur, or I guess blue feathered dinos here that are just chilling. These are the Corydoraptor, a type of oviraptor. So cool, so they're just chilling, eating some plants in this, easy spot, forest, open forest area. But they're being stalked by, let's see, because this name is not pronounced at all the way it looks. And this is a dinosaur that is in Jurassic World Evolution. It's the Shangosaurus, I believe is how it's actually pronounced. It begins with a Q, so I don't know how this pronunciation works. But it's Shangosaurus. We'll go with it. He's kind of like he's a Tyrannosaur, so, So this was one of the top predators of the area. So he's stalking these guys right here. He's trying to get him some oviraptor dinner. So he makes his in play. Oh, oops. I didn't have that's well, spoiler. So he makes an attack. I thought I took a picture of it, but his first attempt fails, and they talk about how most hunters fail a lot, which is true. And if you ever pay attention to the natural world, is a lot of hunts do fail, like lions and stuff like that, and cheetahs. They all they do fail a lot. So he fails on the first attempt. Then a storm comes in, and it's making lots of noise, and the wind's blowing. So they're saying that the storm is now causing a distraction, it's making it harder for the guys to hear. So he makes an attempt. So his next attempt, he's successful. He catches himself a bluebird. So he gives himself a nice dinner. So we do get to see a dinosaur take down another dinosaur. This one's actually really well seen. I think the first one is super well seen. Except, we've seen some close-ups of baby eatings. We saw a faraway shot of a pachyrhino getting killed. So this is actually the first one that we actually see, pretty well shot of doing. So because he does the attack and he grabs it and he falls to the ground and does like a little roll with it just to make sure he has it and hold on to it. So it was a pretty cool kill scene, actually. I'll give him that. Then we get our old forest fire friend that we got from comes back in the play again. This time we do not have a Pyroraptor. Using fire is a way to draw out prey, which I thought that's a little too far, but we get something almost as ridiculous there. But first, while the fire's going, there's a family of, it's hard to see over here in that picture, but there's some Edmontosaurs and child that fell behind the herd because the mother was trying to stay with her children, her calves, to lead them out of the fire. Go Edmontosaurus. But then after the fire settles down, we get to, it shows like a life coming back to the forest. Some beetles come in first. They start chewing on that. And then we get this guy here. This is an Atrociraptor. Also, I known as this is the new type of raptor in the new Jurassic World movie. So, throwing a little shade there because theirs don't have feathers. This one's got feathers. So, throwing the Atrociraptor out there before Jurassic World. Ooh. Big play. Prehistoric Planet. Eats the bug. And then it... I can kind of see there. Then it picks up a smoldering, smoking stick. And it is holding the stick in its mouth and like using smoke on its wings as an insecticide to kill parasites. It does that on both wings. It's like the Pyroraptor, or not. I keep saying Pyroraptor because it was in the fire. It wasn't a Pyroraptor. No, it was a Troodontid. But so interesting. Okay, this is pretty a speculative behavior that it would pick up a hot smoking stick and use it to dust its wings from parasites. It's pretty intelligent. That's a very, very intelligent thing to do. That's a little stretch. He gets interrupted by this ankylosaur who just shows up. So cool, nice green ankylosaur. Green could be like Bumpy. He's coming there to eat some charcoal wood because the charcoal is going to mix with the plant toxins in its stomach to neutralize, or mixed with the plants in its stomach to neutralize any plant toxins and stuff like that. So, okay, that, like I said, those kind of things are maybe possible. So we see an ankylo, then the Edmontosaur and their calves come by, so they made it through the fire. Babies survived. Then we get this nighttime scene, and it starts with glowing fungi. Because, hey, who doesn't want some glowing mushrooms, you know? Talk about the rush you're getting from those babies. From there, we transition to a sleeping sauropod. Didn't actually give us the name of the sauropod. Let's see. Do we know who you are? No, they don't mention, so they didn't mention the names of them here either. So, alright, so yeah, unknown sauropod, just sleeping, and they're talking about with all its air sacs and stuff in its neck that sauropods are really, really loud snorers. Hey, if we got something in common, sauropod, and then we find some baby Therizinosaurus just cruising through the nighttime forest looking for some food. Then they come across some honey, so dripping from a beehive, and we find out Therizinosaurus can kind of climb, so they're climbing up to try and eat the beehive honey, and the bees start attacking them and stinging them, and they kept falling off the branches. But lo and behold, I guess I didn't get his head in it. An adult Therizinosaurus comes through, and Therizinosaurus are a bipedal, plant-eating dinosaur that have super long claws. If you don't know what they are. Originally, these were thought to be some kind of carnivore because the first thing that was found was their arms and their claws. Like, wow, these guys have to be some kind of serious carnivore. And then it turns out they're just a plant eater, a herbivore that uses the claws like to scrape foliage and is for defense. So he comes through, destroys the beehive, takes a big chunk, and takes off walking. Then the babies get to come up and pick off some of the beehive that's on the ground, as long as they can stand the bee stings. So we get a Therizinosaurus. So really cool to see that guy showing up. Then we switch back to Europe for a little island in Europe. We get a few guys in this one. So theorized that this was the Haytag Island. You know, it's an island. It's like been in other documentaries supposed to be where dinosaurs stayed really small, and mentioned that they didn't go to full size. And some people, that's speculative. Some people have said that there's no way that's true, but it has been known to have its top predators. One of interesting, which we're going to see in a second here. So this guy here, this is the Hadrosaur Talmatosaurus. And then we also meet Zamaxi, a type of iguanodon. And as I said, so we see them, they're being cautious about crossing. Real small. I think they're supposed to, I don't know, I thought they were supposed to be babies too, if I remember correctly. So they all start running across the log, and then the last one gets picked off by the top predator of the island, the Hasaratrix. One of a huge pterosaur that was, how tall was it? Like 12 feet tall, wasn't it? No, they don't have the size of it. I think it was like as tall as a giraffe or something like that, I believe they said. So this is a huge pterosaur that was mostly a ground predator. Like I said, it would eat small dinosaurs like this. And this has been speculated before that it was, this is island with dwarfism. There's all the dinosaurs are on an island, so none of the dinosaurs grow to huge sizes. And then this big pterosaur would be able to fly, from elsewhere, was able to fly in and become the top predator of the land. And because everything was tiny, it could eat them and stuff like that in tiny sauropods. Some people have thrown that idea completely out the window and said it's ridiculous. There's no proof of it. So I don't think they claimed that in the show. They did claim, I think these were babies, if I remember correctly, though. So I do think it does claim that so they didn't try and claim that they're just tiny. From there, so I think we have a better shot of him here too. So there's our Hazel right there. And then we get close to the ending. So we see all the animals of the island coming close to like the coastal area because there's some fresh plants, some nice good fresh plantage there. So you see everybody coming out. The predators standing also on the beach because it's working. It says a 30-foot wingspan, so it's in the place so it has to go out of the forest so it can expand its wings. And then we see it do like a little vaulting into the air so it can take off flying. It's supposed to go fly off to, and they mentioned it's flying off to its next island of food, to find abundant food supplies on our prehistoric planet, which is where the show ends. Hopefully, like I said, kind of open wording there to make it sound like could be more coming, and they might do more with the show, which I'd hope so. It's been a great show. And there we go. And you see it fly off and then it flies off to the distance. And that's how the show ends. Really good episode. I really liked this episode. Saw some hunting. Obviously, we did get one baby killed and two babies that survived their. Or I guess wait. The trike baby survived. So we got a lot of babies in here that did not get picked off, actually. So besides the last, one of these guys did by the pterosaur here. So really, really cool show. As we know, the show does hypothetically take place in mostly the Cretaceous, and a lot of seem towards the later end of the Cretaceous. Some points I do give the series. I mean, there was a volcano in an episode, so you gotta have a volcano in a dinosaur show. Though it didn't erupt, so they didn't do the whole volcano eruption thing. Whether we did get 2 forest fires. We're at the end of the Cretaceous. They also didn't do the asteroid hitting. It's common for dinosaur documentaries. It tells us about the asteroid. So stuck with there. This is our animal life. We're going to stick and just talk about it. Like I said, it leaves open-ended. Could we go back and get more dinosaur interactions and that? I would prefer they jump to a different time period. I mean, okay, you covered a lot of the Cretaceous animals at the time. I mean, we hit some of the big boys. We hit some new guys. So maybe mix it up a little bit and throw in some other stuff. It would be cool. But I really hope we get more. I mean, the Planet Earth thing, they did tons of those. So hopefully we get lucky and we get more. That would be really cool. So yeah, I would probably say I think this may be my favorite episode of the series. I may ever pass Coast. I really liked Coast because I like to see sea reptiles. So I'd probably put this Coast, Ice World's Forest, and In the Desert was probably my least favorite of the episodes. But well, stay tuned. I'll probably do a whole series breakdown video about what I liked, what I didn't like, my favorite moments and stuff like that. So we'll probably cover that later. But I was definitely really enjoyed this program. Thought it was amazing. The CGI was amazing. The music was amazing. They did great jobs on the music, special effects. I mean, I think there's maybe I think the only CGI that ever looked kind of really bad to me was, I guess you could kind of say there were some water effects that, didn't look great. Someone didn't. To be fair, I didn't really notice it either until someone else pointed it out. But the animals looked realistic. I loved they just kind of gave you that feel. A lot of them had the eyes that they did, kind of made them even look, like kind of gave them personalities. It kind of gave them like you look. Like in this one, you had the Shingosaurus, and he's like looking at you, and he kind of just felt like kind of reminds you like your dog or something like that. Because he just had like these nice little soft eyes, looking just. So I really think they did a great job on bringing everything to life. They did a great job with bringing in the environments, and I mean, I guess obviously you could use some real locations as backdrops for some of the stuff, but so you probably had the CGI, obviously some stuff in. I mean, overall, this was fantastic. I don't know how. I mean, obviously, we had a few things that were placed out of place, but we'll talk about that in the other video, and probably later as well, as I'm doing some more research on it. Love the show. Hope we get more of it. So stay tuned for other stuff. On the channel if you enjoyed these things. And thanks for anyone who's watched the videos and gave me a like. Appreciate it. And until next time, Kachoro out.